Greetings everybody! I welcome you to our series about fulfillment tools solutions, where we'll introduce you to the fulfillment tools software piece by piece. My name is Andreas. I'm the solution consultant of fulfillment tools, and today I would like to introduce you to the distributed order management system, or in short, DOMS. The DOMS ensures that all incoming orders of your customers are optimally distributed through all available facilities in your network. It can process a wide range of parameters such as stocks, capacity, working hours, or storage locations, and will take them into account in the distribution. Let's take a closer look at how that works. As mentioned before, the distributed order management system takes all your available locations in your whole network and makes an optimally decision on the order coming in based on those data. But how does it make this decision? So we wanted to create the most flexible distribution logic that is currently on the market, and therefore we stepped away a little bit from the old ways of doing that, like the classical process-driven order routing systems that did, like you see here. It's like a big process that is going through a lot of decisions that are made in the way of if that, then that. And you have to do a lot of these decisions, and your whole process can become very complicated, very long, because everything is based on those decisions, and then next decision is following up. So this introduced some problems in the whole system, or some downsides, let's say it like that. First of all, it's very complicated to introduce new rules because you have to take into account the whole process logic that is already there. The more rules you have, the harder it is to maintain that, the code, and the whole process logic. And also rules can be brought into an order, like this before that and this before that, but you cannot weight them against each other. Like if you want to have them on an equal level, but both are possibilities, it's very complicated to do that here. Therefore, we took a different approach, and Fulfillment Tools created a two-steps process for the order routing. Which you can see here. So the order is coming in, and the first step is the fences. You can have as many fences as you want, and the fences are basically knockout criteria. This means the order comes in and will be compared to each available location against each activated fence. So this could be, for example, I only want to be served in the same country that the customer is coming from. So a German order comes in, it should only be fulfilled from German locations, basically. So this would be done by the fences, and this will narrow down your available locations very quickly. So let's say you have 100 starting that, the order is checking against each location with each fence. So you're coming down to 10 that are still left alive, basically. All the others will get kicked out of the equation. So then the surviving 10 will move on into the rating system. This is the second step of our distributed order management system. There, we don't have knockout criteria anymore. Each location that has survived until this point will run through each rule compared against the order. So now it can fulfilling that rule good or not so good. It will just get points based on how good it fulfills this one rule. And at the end, the location with the most points will basically get the task to fulfill that order. This means it doesn't have to be the one that fulfills everything perfectly, but the one that overall is the best out of all leftover facilities. So use the fences to cut down your network very quickly with obvious knockout criteria, and then use the ratings to find out on what exact location should do the fulfillment now, based on a lot of different rules and different points. This system has a lot of advantages. First of all, the ratings and fences are not dependent on each other like it is in the older way where this was a process. You can add as many rules as you want, either on the fence side or on the rating side, doesn't matter. And also the rule set can always be adjusted on the fly. So it is easy to add a new rule while the system is running. So the moment it gets activated, this is live for the next order coming in your system. It's much easier to maintain, as you can imagine. It's not as a big process. It's more like some dedicated rules. And also the ratings, they can be weighted against each other, so you don't have to decide this or that. You can do both and then decide on who gets the most points. Let's have a look on how that works out with some demo data. So we have an example here. There is a customer sending in an order. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 facilities that will be available to fulfill. And you see some major data points around that order. So first of all, it's a shipment, so it needs to be shipped to the customer. The location where it should be shipped from needs to have free capacity. And also it needs to have the capacity of doing two-man handling, which means there are typically items in the order that are very big, so they have to be handled by 2 people. And also the carrier that is shipping this has to have the ability to do two-man handling. So, and you see some of those locations don't meet these requirements. We see the 4 in the mid and south, they are out. They either are not able to ship, or they don't have two-man handling, or they don't have free capacity, so they are out. But you see the other 2 stores there survive, so these 2 stores would be able to fulfill that after the fences. So the fences are done. Now it switches over into the ratings. It hands over these 2 locations to the rating system, and here we have totally different ratings. So we're not looking at shipment, free capacity, and all of that. This is already cleared. So now we're looking at how close is this facility to the customer. Could we reduce some stocks here, overstocking, and also let's have a fair distribution of workload. And with all of that data, he decided that the best facility to fulfill this one order is the upper right facility. So this is how it will be narrowed down to one facility. The decision is made based on the rule set. Now this facility should fulfill this order. So let's switch into the software. What you see here is the back office of fulfillment tools, which is the administrative area. It's for doing the configurations and also seeing your data flow through the whole system. And that's a very good point, because the DOMS is only making decisions based on data that it has inside of it or third parties giving them. So we're looking at one of very, very important set of data that has to be inside the system to make good distribution decisions. That would be, for example, the facility. So here we see all the locations that we have inside my system, and you will be aware that this is completely mixed. So we have stores in here, we have dropshippers in here, we have stores in Germany, in the United States, in Austria. Basically everything that where you could store some goods that you could distribute to a customer, you can add that here. Then also you see here already there are carriers. You see what carriers are available at that location. And also you see the service type, which means, am I able to ship goods from here to the customer, or is the customer able to pick up here, like in a big warehouse or in a big distribution center? You wouldn't be doing click and collect, and vice versa. Here in the store in the middle of Manhattan, New York, you might not want to do ship from store. So like, this is better be done from a distribution center outside, maybe. So we can have a closer look. We won't go into detail this time, because that would be another video. But here you can see very quickly there are a lot of informations that we have around those facilities, like opening hours, fulfillment times, what carriers are available, at what time will they come here to pick up, and some settings as well. So all these information are feeded into the distributed order management system to help it to make the best decision possible. And that's a good point. Let's see how the distributed order management system itself is configured. So we have the configuration here, and what you can see here are a wide variety of possible settings. So let's start with the order split. So order split, obviously, we try to avoid that because of higher carrier costs in that area, but sometimes it's not to be avoided. So we can activate this here, and we can also say like how many splits do we allow in our network, or do we want to treat same-day orders a little bit differently, because there it's obviously time matters. So it could make sense to do a split here, but not in other cases. And the next step is the routing rules, and you will recognize that from before. Here we have exactly these two stage system. We have on the left side the fences that are already activated here, 2 fences, and you have on the right side the ratings. I also activated a lot of ratings already, and you see as well that you have the opportunity to prioritize those here with the slider, for example. A very quick remark, don't want to get too technical, but as a Mach certified company, we are API first, which means a lot of the functionality also around the DOMS is in the backend and is accessible via APIs. This means not everything you could do with our software over the API is visible over the UI. We make very distinctive decisions what we put on the UI. So if you miss anything here, if you need anything more, feel free to ask, especially if you don't find the rule that you need in this list currently, because that's the list that we just deliver. If you get a blank system, this is everything that's there. Of course, you can add on your own rules, your own fences, your own ratings. That's completely up to you. And yeah, after the routing is before the routing. There could be decisions made that are wrong, or we see that it's not working as we expected when we made the first decision. So parameters change all the time. We get new data. You see that here, for example, there is the routing decision in case of a short pick. Short pick means we have allocated this order to a certain facility, and we expect them to have all the items because that was what the data told us. And now the employee who's doing the picking on the floor is saying like, yeah, they are in the system. There are 2 items, but actually they are not there for whatever reason. The problem right now is we cannot send that to the customer because I don't find those 2 items. So in that case, he would do a short pick. He would pick all the other items and just the missing ones he will not pick. He will complete that, and then the system will make a decision. So like, okay, here it's activated that we have a rerouting after that event, and we can decide how we do that. We can do a complete reroute, which means we take away the whole task from that facility, tell the employee there, please put the rest that you already picked back on the shelf. We would reallocate the whole task to another facility. Or we could say like, okay, we're doing just an order split. This means the stuff you already picked up, package that, send it to the customer. The missing items we will split, put into another facility, and it will get sent from there. So everything's fine. Same goes for click and collect, of course. Just a little difference. It doesn't mean that the customer gets an email and says like, okay, you have to go to another location to pick up. Obviously, he will still go to the location he chooses to pick up. But we will manage that another facility is sending the missing items to the click and collect facility so they could finish the whole pickup package for him there. Of course, you could also do a reroute manually through a service agent, for example. We also have the reroute task in case of inactivity. This means the whole task is laying around in one facility, for example, 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours. You can set that up, how many times you want to give them. And then you would decide, okay, we take that away from that facility because for some reason they're not starting with it, and we hand it over to another facility. And then you could afterwards, if that occurs more often, you could have a talk with that facility and say, okay, what do we need to do to enable you that you can participate in that and you can pick those stuff quicker. But first, take care that the customer gets his items. Yeah, that's a very rough introduction to the configuration. And let's see how that all plays out on the UI when the order comes in and it's running through your system. Here we are in the order section of the back office where we can see the orders flowing through the system. And let's have a sneak peek on one of these orders specifically to see how the distributed order management system did it work. So let's see at this order, for example, and we open the order history for that. We see quite something happened here. So you see the order was created quite some days ago. And we already see that there has been a routing decision made to split this order. So we weren't able to fulfill all the items from one location, sadly. So we had to split that. The distributed order management system did so and sent one part to the store in Cologne and the other one to the dropshipper that we have connected to our system. And you can also see store in Cologne was no problem. They picked all of their items fine, but the dropshipper was missing one item. And then we had a short pick. So item we're missing should be there, but it wasn't there. And so the whole task went back to the routing system, and the distributed order management system kicked in again and said, okay, we have to reroute that completely. So please, this one item, you bring that back to your shelves. We will reroute your part of that. So these two items that are still missing, that have not been sent by Cologne, we will reroute that into the DIY distribution center, which is under our control again. And here you see it was completely picked 2 out of 2 items. So at least at that point, all of the items have arrived at the customer. I hope you enjoyed this video and our short introduction to the distributed order management system. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to speak to your contact person or contact me directly. I wish you a very good day and hope to see you soon in person or in any of our other videos about the Fulfillment Tools solution.